Lewis Hamilton's 8th place in Baku was not just another midfield finish. It was a shockwave that rattled Ferrari to its core. On the surface, it looked like a forgettable result, a simple case of two drivers swapping places and finishing outside the spotlight. But the truth hidden in the numbers told a very different story. Hamilton's data revealed a pace that Ferrari was too slow to use, lap times that proved a strategy call had come far too late, and radio hesitations that exposed a team struggling to lead its own drivers. This was not about points, not about overtakes, and not even about pure speed. It was about the cracks in Ferrari's authority being dragged into the open. Charles Leclerc felt it in real time. His frustration boiled over when he obeyed an order to let Hamilton through, only to watch the plan collapse before it even began. His voice on the radio carried more than anger. It carried humiliation, a driver betrayed by hesitation and indecision. And on the other side, his engineer stumbled for words, unable to give a clear answer when asked a simple question. The team sounded lost, and that confusion echoed louder than any engine roar. For Hamilton, this race was not a defeat. It was proof. Proof that Ferrari's structure is fragile. Proof that even in 8th place, his presence already changes the balance of power inside Maranello. The data did not just show lap times. It showed something far more important: Ferrari's inability to manage its own politics. What should have been a routine midfield finish became the moment when numbers, radios, and voices revealed that Ferrari's greatest weakness is not its car, but its control. On the surface, the story looked simple. Lewis Hamilton finished 8th in Baku. Ferrari tried a driver swap, and in the end, it didn't work. But even that straightforward version revealed cracks when you looked closer. On lap 42, Charles Leclerc was told to move aside and let Hamilton through. The order was clear, and Leclerc obeyed, giving Hamilton the chance to chase down the cars ahead. For a moment, it seemed like Ferrari had a plan. Hamilton, on fresher tyres, surged forward, trying to close the gap to the midfield pack. But the truth was brutal. The call had come too late. Norris, Tsunoda and Lawson were already too far ahead. No matter how hard Hamilton pushed, the seconds he clawed back were never enough to bring him into striking distance. As the final laps ticked away, the situation turned awkward. Leclerc came back on the radio, asking if the positions would be swapped again if Hamilton failed to pass. His question cut through the static, sharp and uncomfortable. The response from the Ferrari pit wall was hesitation, a pause that spoke louder than any command. Only in the final moments did the order finally arrive: give the place back. Hamilton was told to slow down, to let Leclerc through again, because Hajar was closing behind. But the call came far too late. The straight was too short, the finish line was already there, and Hamilton crossed ahead by 0.4 of a second. What should have been a clean exchange turned into another scene of Ferrari chaos, with one driver frustrated, the other cursing, and the pit wall exposed for their indecision. What the cameras didn't show was the data that told the real story. Hamilton's lap times on fresher tyres proved he was faster. Fast enough to close in if the team had acted sooner. Every sector showed small gains. Every lap revealed a driver pushing to squeeze out whatever chance remained. Ferrari's own timing sheets backed it up. The opportunity was there, but the pit wall hesitated. By the time they made the call, the gap had already stretched beyond reach. Leclerc noticed it too, and that was why his voice carried so much anger when he spoke on the radio. He knew the numbers, he saw the pace, and he understood that Ferrari had waited too long. Instead of being part of a clear strategy, he was left playing the role of the teammate sacrificed for nothing. And when he asked if the positions would be swapped back, the answer he received was not a decision, but a delay. His engineer's words, "I'll come back to you," exposed the hesitation inside the team. In Formula One, hesitation is as costly as a mistake, and in Baku, it turned a plan that might have worked into a disaster that humiliated both drivers. On television, the whole moment looked like nothing more than confusion, a messy swap that slipped away in the final seconds. But the radios revealed a truth far more powerful than what the cameras captured. Charles Leclerc's voice cut through first, sharp and laced with sarcasm as he muttered, "He can enjoy that P8." It was not just a comment about a position. It was the sound of a driver who felt used, a driver who had given way only to see the team waste his sacrifice. Moments later, his tone grew heavier, his words raw with anger. "It's just stupid. It's not fair." That was not the calm and diplomatic Leclerc the public usually sees. This was the unfiltered version, humiliated and frustrated, questioning his own team in the heat of the moment. On the other side of the garage, Hamilton's response could not have been more different. After crossing the line, he said just one word: "Damn it." Calm, controlled, but loaded with meaning. He was not lashing out, not pointing fingers, but that single word carried a weight no press conference could match. It was the voice of a man who knew exactly what had been lost, and exactly why. These contrasting voices, Leclerc's raw emotion and Hamilton's measured frustration, told the real story of Ferrari in Baku. Not a story of race positions, but of a team split down the middle, exposed by the words their own drivers could not hold back. The contrast between the two drivers could not have been clearer. Hamilton approached the situation with the mindset of a chess player, calm and calculating, using the data from every lap as fuel for the bigger battle that lies ahead. Even when frustrated, his voice carried control, the tone of someone already thinking beyond one race result. For him, 8th place was not just a number, it was information. Proof that Ferrari's hesitation had cost them, and proof that he now understood exactly how fragile the team's decision-making really was. Leclerc, on the other hand, reacted with emotion. His sarcasm, his angry words on the radio showed a driver who felt betrayed by his own team. He had followed the order, moved aside, and in return was left humiliated when the plan collapsed. His frustration was not only aimed at Hamilton, but also at the Ferrari pit wall that had let him down again. For him, the issue was personal, a wound to his trust and pride. This clash between Hamilton's patience and Leclerc's emotion is not about a handful of points in Baku. It is about control. It is about which driver will shape Ferrari's future, who the team will truly follow when the pressure grows, and who will emerge as the leader in a battle that is only just beginning. What makes this moment even more powerful is that it's not new for Ferrari. History shows the same ghosts haunting them again and again. We've seen this before, back in the Vettel era, when confusion over team orders brought back memories of the Multi-21 drama, or when delayed strategies repeatedly cost them race wins they should have secured. Ferrari has always carried this weakness: hesitation at the crucial moment, indecision when clarity is needed, and a fractured authority that leaves drivers feeling like they are fighting not just their rivals, but their own team. Hamilton, of all people, knows this pattern well. During his time at Mercedes, team orders may not have been popular, but they were decisive. Decisions were made quickly, with authority, and the drivers knew exactly where they stood. That clarity, even when painful, created strength. At Ferrari, though, the same old mistakes are creeping back. Hesitation that opens the door for rivals, and indecision that breeds distrust within their own garage. And Hamilton has walked straight into the middle of it. On the results sheet, it was only 8th place, just a number that normally wouldn't carry much weight. But in this race, P8 meant far more than points. For Leclerc, it was pure humiliation. He followed the team's instructions, trusted their call, and in return felt betrayed when it left him exposed. For Hamilton, though, that same position became a quiet victory. By crossing the line ahead, even after being ordered otherwise, he showed that Ferrari could not fully control him. It was his way of reminding everyone that he plays his own game. And for Ferrari as a team, that single finishing spot was a disaster in disguise. It showed the world their authority was slipping, that their drivers were no longer united under one command, and that the cracks inside the Scuderia were now visible for everyone to see. The engineers found themselves trapped in the middle of a storm they couldn't control. Riccardo Adami, Leclerc's race engineer, stumbled through his messages, unsure of how to handle the growing tension. On the other side, Hamilton's engineer Peter Bonington, Bono, had to apologise to Leclerc over the radio, a bizarre moment that showed just how messy things had become. Instead of sounding like leaders delivering a clear plan, the Ferrari pit wall came across as if they were doing damage control, scrambling to calm their own drivers rather than guiding them to the best result. It was another clear sign that Ferrari's structure was already cracking, with authority slipping away and the team's unity exposed for all of Formula One to see. If Ferrari can't even manage a simple midfield swap without falling into chaos, the bigger question is what happens when the stakes are higher? What will this team do when it comes to fighting for podiums or even victories? The rivalry between Hamilton and Leclerc is no longer just about lap times. It's turning into a brewing civil war inside Ferrari. Every race from now on will test more than speed. It will test trust, leadership, and who truly has control of the team. This isn't just about points on a scoreboard, it's about the future direction of Ferrari, and whether they can survive the storm of having two world-class drivers pulling in different directions. So what do you think? Did Hamilton's P8 data prove he's already reshaping Ferrari from the inside, or was this just another chapter in Ferrari's endless chaos? The numbers, the radios, and the emotions all point to a deeper story that's only just beginning. Drop your thoughts below and let your voice be part of this debate. And if you believe Hamilton is exposing Ferrari's weakness, type #StandWithLewis in the comments to show where you stand. The next races won't just decide points, they'll decide who really leads Ferrari. So make sure to subscribe, because when the lights go out, Ferrari's internal war will ignite again, and you won't want to miss a single moment of it.